Today's news highlights. Date March 28, 2025. News highlights: Shen Yun held a press conference at Lincoln Center in New York on March 26 to expose the constant threats and harassment it has suffered from the CCP since its establishment. A petition was released at the meeting, calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the CCP's transnational repression. Shen Yun host Li Shan said that the CCP has long tried to sabotage Shen Yun's performances and even escalated to bomb threats because Shen Yun promotes traditional Chinese culture and exposes the truth about the persecution. The Falun Dafa Information Center stressed that this matter is a matter of U.S. national security and called on the government to take action. Shen Yun artists shared their own experiences and refuted false media reports. News highlights: U.S. Secretary of Defense Hygeis delivered a speech at the Kenanu Asia-Pacific Center for Security Studies in Hawaii on March 25. Elaborating on the Indo-Pacific strategy and emphasizing seeking peace through strength. He proposed 3 core principles: restoring the spirit of the warrior, rebuilding the army, and deterring, to unite allies in response to the CCP's military expansion. He stressed that the United States is committed to maintaining the Indo-Pacific and global security and will rebuild the most powerful deterrent. After his visit to Hawaii, he will travel to Guam, the Philippines, and Japan to deepen U.S. partnerships with allies. News highlights: Shen Yun held a press conference at Lincoln Center in New York on March 26 to expose the CCP's continued threats and harassment since its founding, and released a petition calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the CCP's transnational repression. Shen Yun host Li Shan said that the CCP has long tried to sabotage Shen Yun's performances and even escalated to bomb threats because Shen Yun promotes traditional Chinese culture and exposes the truth about the persecution. The Falun Dafa Information Center stressed that this matter is a matter of U.S. national security and called on the government to take action. Shen Yun artists also shared their personal experiences and refuted media inaccuracies. News highlights: the Japanese government announced for the first time the evacuation plan of Taiwan incident, which is expected to evacuate 120,000 people to Kyushu and Yamaguchi prefectures within 6 days, and formulate complete guidelines in 2026. News highlights: Honhai and Mitsubishi have reached an agreement to manufacture electric vehicles and will seek cooperation between Nissan and Honda at a briefing in Tokyo on April 9 to expand the Japanese and Southeast Asian markets. News highlights: Zhu Meili, Vice President of the Central Bank, revealed that 92% of China's foreign exchange reserves are U.S. bonds, about $530 billion. She said that the exchange rate of the new Taiwan dollar is affected by market supply and demand, and the central bank only adjusts it when necessary. The linkage between U.S. stocks and Taiwan stocks has led to the recent depreciation of the new Taiwan dollar, and the impact of foreign capital inflows and outflows has fluctuated. Regarding the uncertainty of Trump's policy, she believes that Taiwan stocks are competitive, and the market will stabilize with the clarity of the policy. News highlights: Zhang Shenghai, a senior executive of the front desk TSMC, and Lin Benjian, a member of Kingda, put forward suggestions for Intel's development strategy. Zhang Shenghai suggested that Intel abandon TSMC and instead acquire mature process factories to improve competitiveness, and said that Intel should focus on technology leadership. Lin Benjian pointed out that TSMC has advantages in having hundreds of customers and rapid production, and it is difficult to catch up with its peers. News highlights: Finance Minister Zhuang Qian revealed that the tariff of up to 30% on Taiwan's health food will be lowered in an annual and phased manner. This adjustment is expected to allow consumers to obtain foreign health food at lower prices. The Ministry of Economic Affairs also confirmed that it will move towards the direction of reduction, but the specific adjustment projects need to be further communicated with the industry and relevant units. News highlights: TSMC's investment in the United States increased to $200 billion, causing market shocks and raising concerns about Taiwan's housing market. Experts point out that while the impact of new pre-sale homes is limited, second-hand homes could see a decline of 5 to 10%. This is mainly due to the decline in home buying confidence under the 7th wave of credit control, and there is more room for correction in overhyped areas. Despite this, TSMC's plans to build factories in Taiwan have not changed and have not had a significant impact on the housing market in Kaohsiung or Tainan. News highlights: Zhang Kekai, a Taiwanese People's Party legislator and chairman of the Chi City Party Department, was recently rumored to be running for mayor of Chi City in 2026. In an interview with the media, he said that if he has the opportunity to serve the citizens of Chi, he will do his best. Zhang Kekai, a native of Chi, has served in the media circle for a long time in the past, and under the guidance of former chairman Kay Wenz, he turned to politics and served as a legislator. He said that he is currently actively promoting 2 important bills, namely the Media Bargaining Act and the Satellite Radio and Television Act, and hopes to improve Taiwan's media environment through these bills. News highlights: when Ho Peason participated in Riding the Wine 2025, Jay Zhou was mentioned many times in the show, which attracted the attention and discussion of netizens. Especially on one of the occasions, Zhu Sedan and Wang Luodan participated in the answering game. When asked who his favorite actor was, Zhu Sedan said Jay Chu's name on the spot, and still answered in front of Ho Peason. Such behavior caused dissatisfaction among some netizens, who thought that Zhu Sudan's reaction lacked emotional intelligence, because she should know that Zhou and Ho Pisen had an emotional history. News highlights today, 28th, the front hit, the weather in Taiwan changed drastically, the temperature in the north plummeted to 20 degrees Celsius, and turned wet and cold, and there may be brief showers or thunderstorms. The northeast monsoon will strengthen, and the low temperature in the north and Yunnan will drop to 12 degrees Celsius, and the temperature will be higher in the central and southern regions, and there is a chance that it will reach 30 degrees Celsius in the south of Tainan. There will still be rain in the northern and eastern half of tomorrow, 29th, and the weather will be stable over the weekend, but the weak front may bring changes, which needs to be continuously observed. News highlights: after 4 months of treatment and rehabilitation, Yunnan non-party MP Chen Fangying was seriously injured in a car accident last year, and she has been able to walk slowly and gradually recover from crutches, but she still cannot see light in her left eye. Chen said that despite the inconvenience, pain, and occasional dizziness, she will continue to work hard to recover, and promised to regain her footing and return to everyone. She also asked for the public's forgiveness and thanked her supporters for their company. News highlights: Taiwanese food supplier Gluttony Fresh Selection recently reported on Facebook that the free delivery of Love Bento was disgusted by the people of Li, and there was a verbal conflict with the industry in Huavulai, Bangqiao district. The industry said that the bento menu includes sausages and 3 dishes, but it has been criticized for not being as good as the previous Love Bento, and emphasizing that the food delivery was originally to give back to the disadvantaged, not to satisfy the length of the meal or save face. The operator felt aggrieved and pointed out that the food delivery activity had run all over Bangqiao for 126 miles, but he didn't expect the last mile to be in trouble. News highlights: Chinese actress Zhao Lucy, who became popular for the rumored Chen Qianqian, was photographed in a wheelchair last year due to health problems, suspected of suffering from aphasia, depression, and experiencing physical discomfort. After recuperation, Zhao Lucy made a comeback to participate in the variety show A Little Courage, revealing that she needed to take medication due to somatization symptoms and could not film. She admitted that the drug had caused her memory to deteriorate, and it was difficult for her to remember lines during filming, and she reflected on her past overwork, did not pay attention to her physical health, and thought that she lacked reverence for life in the past. News highlights: Golden Melody singer Xiao Huangqi recently opened a Threads account, and his first short article attracted 23,000 views. He humorously interacted with netizens, revealing that he wanted to change cars, and his voice response was willing to take netizens for a ride, which made fans excited. He also responded to netizens' questions, saying that having a child is the only thing that can't be done, and sent blessings to the fans who broke up, and also gave the big lottery number at random, showing an optimistic and humorous personality. News highlights: when questioned by the acting chairman of the NCC in the Legislative Yuan, Kuomintang legislator Wang Xiaoling asked by name to stop the broadcast of Yakan Sees the World hosted by Zhang Yakan, and mentioned that the program received 308 complaints. Zhang Yakan then countered during the broadcast, bluntly saying that Wang Xiaoling should step down, and accused the blue and white parties of copying and pasting complaints, saying that these complaints were groundless. She emphasized that her report was based on facts, and domineering said that she was not standing on the anchor stage based on appearance, but on wisdom and conscience. News highlights: 8 o'clock actress Wu Wanjun recently accused her boyfriend Zhao Junya of domestic violence and applied to the police for a protection order. She revealed that she had been subjected to verbal violence, emotional blackmail, and physical violence during her relationship, which became nightmares that she could not get rid of. Lai Waru, who has experienced domestic violence, spoke out on the community, saying that she would give Wu Wanjun strength, and mentioned that she was also violently treated by her ex-boyfriend, and was even pushed down the stairs on her birthday. She stressed that there is zero tolerance for domestic violence and called on everyone to support Wu Wanjun and help her heal from her injuries. News highlights: Andy, Wang Kongrui, a veteran member of the $1 Million YouTuber crowd, recently broke out into a fierce dispute with his ex-girlfriend Jianning's family, focusing on issues such as equity, unclear accounts, and uneven distribution of income, and assisting in the investigation of tax evasion. Jianning was silent for 7 days after the incident, and did not release a video response until the 20th, but was criticized by netizens for the empty content. On the 27th, Jianning uploaded a makeup video with the text "present," which caused dissatisfaction among netizens, criticizing her for her cold handling of the controversy, and questioning her attitude and conscience. Netizens left fierce messages and expressed puzzlement about Jianning's behavior. News highlights: the creative private room videos of the Taiwan version of Room N involved the crime of serious sexual assault, including more than 200,000 videos and thousands of victims. Artist Wang Tsc was revealed to be a senior member and owned a number of pornographic videos, including child pornography, which sparked public opinion. Writer Than Ruwu launched a call on Facebook to publish a list of 80 premium members and prosecute them, which was supported by more than 9,000 people. Netizens called for severe punishment of criminals and demanded that their crimes be exposed to prevent those in power from evading responsibility. News highlights: artiste Wu Wanjun recently accused her boyfriend Zhao Junya of domestic violence, filed a lawsuit for injury and applied for a protection order. In the early morning of the 28th, she posted on social platforms and wrote, "No one knows what you are going through, the important thing is to have the courage. No one knows what you are going through, the important thing is to have the courage to face it," and attached a picture of an elephant. Wu Wanjun also forwarded a picture of a rain shower on IG. In the picture, a small animal behind an elephant uses leaves to cover it from the rain, expressing its inner sadness. Fans left messages of support for her. News highlights: after the European debt crisis, Greece has successfully escaped the shadow of European pigs and will be upgraded by a credit rating agency in 2024. After several bailouts and austerity reforms, Greece has actively repaid its debts and gradually recovered its economy. In 2022, IMF loans will be repaid ahead of schedule, attracting foreign capital inflows and outpacing the average growth in the Eurozone. At the same time, Portugal and Spain have also succeeded in reviving their economies and emerging from Europe's debt woes. News highlights: the Dodgers beat the Tigers 5-4 in the home opener. Shohei Ohtani knocked out his first home run of the season on American soil to help the Dodgers win. Dodgers starting pitcher Snell lost 2 points in 5 innings and had a 3.60 defense rate, while Tigers skipper One Sirian lost 4 points in 5 innings. The Tigers relied on a home run from Toxin to close the score in the 7th inning, but Shohei Ohtani then hit the spring cannon to seal the win for the Dodgers. News highlights: it has been more than 2 years since Chuanlian acquired RT Mart in Taiwan, and it is rumored in the market that Lin Mingxiang, chairman of Chuanlian, will announce that 20 RT Mart mass merchandisers will be renamed to Chuanlian, and it is expected to complete the conversion in the 3rd quarter and integrate the RT Mart brand into Chuanlian. RT Mart was founded in 1997 with revenues of more than 40 billion yuan in its heyday, and was acquired by Chuanlian for 11.5 billion yuan in 2021. In the future, RT Mart employees and members will be integrated by All Union, and the first Chuanlian store will be opened in Qingpu, Dawan. News highlights: Bill Gates predicted in a recent interview that in the next decade, with the advancement of artificial intelligence, most things will no longer require humans, except for programmers, biologists, and energy experts. Other professions may be replaced by machines. He said AI will take over a lot of tedious, monotonous work and allow humans to focus on the creative field. Gates also suggested that with the spread of automation, humans may be able to work 2 to 3 days a week, with more time for non-work activities. News highlights: in March, the Labor Insurance Bureau will issue a number of payments. 3/28 of the items included annuities and subsidies, and 3/31 is the largest. Eligible persons are advised to pay attention to the changes in their accounts to confirm whether the funding has been successful, so as to protect their rights and interests and reduce financial pressure. News highlights: on March 28, the Democratic Progressive Party caucus rushed into the Legislative Yuan early in the morning and set up signs to protest against the 25th anti-abolition and anti-martial law referendums, which were put to the second reading, saying that the meeting was illegal and the resolution was invalid. The confrontation between the government and the opposition has intensified, and the Kuomintang has called for the resumption of normal deliberations and the joint promotion of the People's Livelihood Bill. News highlights: a woman who eats whole wheat toast and juice for breakfast has a blood sugar surge of 185 mg/dl, and is tired after a meal. The doctor recommended that the intake of protein and fiber first, and then carbohydrates. The peak blood sugar dropped by 35%, the spirit was significantly improved, and the weight was also reduced. CGM can help to personalize dietary modifications. News highlights: with the popularity of short audio, Chinese education is facing new challenges. Douyin language has infiltrated the school language, and words such as Lao Tai and frequently appear in primary school students' compositions, and punctuation and grammar errors are the norm. A primary school composition teacher shouted "Go crazy," admitting that the students' language skills were low and the teachers were unable to produce 6 sentences. In addition, the essay question that day, "I shed tears in the middle of the private school," triggered a wave of writing by parents who died and set off heated discussions in the community. Netizens pointed out that the popularity of smartphones and short videos is the main reason for the decline in language literacy. News highlights: after Yang Qbi announced her divorce, she recorded fun travel of 60th youth as usual, and she cried emotionally in the video, saying frankly that she hoped to be honest with her travel companions and did not want to deceive everyone. Shen Chunyua sent a handwritten letter of encouragement, thanking her for meeting true friends during the trip, and talking to her ex-husband on the phone to care about the current situation, saying that she would cherish each other's company. News highlights: the 51-year-old Takeshi Kaneshiro has not appeared for a long time, and recently made a surprise appearance in the image photos released by the Chinese government, showing a simple lifestyle. He walked through the countryside with his bicycle and planted potted plants with his own hands, showing the philosophy of natural life, which aroused enthusiastic responses from fans, admiring his charm and temperament for many years. News highlights: artist Huang Zijiao was found to be a senior member of the Creative Private Room, possessing 2,259 juvenile sexual images, and was prosecuted, sentenced to 8 months in the first instance, and fined 100,000 yuan. The second instance trial was held on the afternoon of the 26th, and Huang Zijiao had a different attitude from the first instance trial, pleading guilty to some crimes, and he argued during the investigation in the first instance that he bought sex films to relieve pressure. In this regard, lawyer Liu Kaiyuan pointed out that the harm to minors was completely the fault of the buyer, and bluntly said, "You spent money to buy the pain of children, how can you downplay it?" News highlights today, 28th, the front passes and the northeast monsoon strengthens, the weather in the north and northeast becomes cooler, and the temperature in the central and eastern parts also gradually drops, with localized brief showers or thunderstorms in Matsu, localized brief showers in the northern and eastern halves and Kinmen, scattered brief showers in the central region, and cloudy to sunny in other areas in Penghu. Meteorological expert Lindeen pointed out that the temperature is not a slow drop, but a sudden drop. And the later it is, the cooler it gets. There is a chance of snowfall in the high mountains north of Chubu and above 3,500 meters in Yuhua during the 2 days. News highlights the blue and white camp raided the legislative yuan and put the anti-martial law and anti-abolition referendum bills into the second reading, causing dissatisfaction with the DPP, and the Green Committee stayed overnight in the parliament on the 26th and occupied the rostrum this morning to protest. A confrontation broke out between the two sides, with the Green Battalion resisting with a strike, while the Blue Battalion held up counter-slogans, and the meeting fell into a fierce offensive and defensive scene. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Wang Xiaoling questioned the more than 300 complaints of Yakan sees the world and should be suspended, triggering a strong counterattack by the host Zhang Yakan, angrily shouting Wang Xiaoling should step down, and revealed that the Blue and White Party used a large number of complaints in the form of copying and pasting, criticizing its behavior as very blind, bluntly saying that he was not afraid of being attacked, and relied on his head and conscience to base himself on the anchor station. News highlights the mayor surnamed Chen in Huavilai, Bangqiao District, New Taipei City, has provided meals to the elderly in need every Wednesday for the past 6 years. On the 26th, a bento operator joined the ranks of Love and delivered nearly 100 bento boxes for free, but unexpectedly, an Abel disliked the poor color of the dish, only 1 sausage and 3 side dishes, and the 2 sides broke out on the spot. In this regard, the industry also gave a response and said that it was very chilling. News highlights at 8 o'clock, actress Wu Wanjun complained of violence by her boyfriend Zhao Junya, and resolutely filed a lawsuit and applied for a protection order. In the past, her husband Chen Haiqiang also spoke out in support, although he posted a photo of the bruises in the name of massage, but marked the words "no violence," implying solidarity with Wu Wanjun and condemning domestic violence. News highlights the male god Takeshi Kane Shiro, who has been hidden for many years, made a surprise appearance and became a MUJI friend of MUJI in China, wearing MUJI clothes to show his natural life, leading bicycles in the suburbs and planting green plants is still handsome, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Uncle Shui is finally open. More handsome photos will be released one after another. News highlights 38-year-old actress Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly have been separated many times, announced her pregnancy last year, and recently gave birth to a daughter. Although the two have the crystallization of love, because the man passed on the ambiguous object again, they were suspected of breaking up after Thanksgiving, and their relationship was confusing. News highlights the high-profile selection of the leader of the Bamboo Union gang attracted the attention of the police, and the police department ordered an immediate arrest and an all-out sweep. The Shillin Sub-Bureau cracked 3 cases in 3 months and arrested 40 people, including fraudsters and violent groups. News highlights the high-profile selection of the leader of the Bamboo Union gang attracted the attention of the police, and the police department ordered an immediate arrest and an all-out sweep. The Shillin Sub-Bureau cracked 3 cases in 3 months and arrested 40 people, including fraudsters and violent groups. News highlights to prevent account theft, Line has launched a new Login Again feature, which allows users to log into version 15.4.0 if their account is stolen or accidentally logs out of their main device. They can quickly log in again and keep their chat history and paid content to ensure account security and data loss. News highlights with the passage of the front and the strengthening of the northeast monsoon, it will be about 21 to 24 degrees during the day and 15 degrees in the evening in the north and Yunnan, and it will remain warm in other areas, about 29 to 33 degrees. There were localized brief rains in the northern and eastern halves, and the temperature dropped markedly, turning to wet and cold. The weather has stabilized during the Qingming holiday, but there may be a weak front in the middle to bring short-term rain. News highlights YouTuber Andy accused his ex-girlfriend Zhang Jianing and his mother of embezzling channel revenue, and went to the Investigation Bureau on the 26th to submit information. Zhang Jianing released a makeup video on the 27th and did not respond to the incident, which caused dissatisfaction among netizens. The two sides have gone to court, and the prosecutor and the IRS have intervened in the investigation. News highlights Taichung Yuki yesterday a silver building robbery case. 2 suspects pretended to buy gold jewelry to take the opportunity to rob more than 200,000 necklaces, and reversed the car to hit and injured the 70-year-old proprietress, caused a cerebral hemorrhage, fled to the city suspected of going south on the national highway. When the police locked down the suspect and pursued him, Yinluo recognized that two people had been haunted in the south. News highlights clashes broke out in the Legislative Yuan and the DPP, in order to block the confirmation of the referendum against the abolition of the death penalty, occupied the rostrum and blocked the meeting hall at dawn. Han Kuo-yu could not enter. Fu Kunking criticized the DPP for paralyzing the deliberations, and Zhou Rong hoped that the negotiations would go smoothly, and the government and the opposition would fall into a deadlock again. News highlights Ko Wen's was detained for 7 months, with reports of hematology, urine, and vomiting, and the People's Party called for proper medical treatment. The North Institute claimed that K had recovered well and that there was no abnormality, but the two sides had different statements. YouTuber Elisa Shah made a rare statement, emphasizing human rights and fairness and the rule of law, and calling for attention to K health. News highlights Xiao Huangqi opened a Threads account, and the humorous opening of the first "Let me see what you are all doing" detonated a warm response from netizens. He personally replied to messages, laughed at himself, and even helped netizens choose big lottery numbers, showing his closeness and humorous charm, and once again attracted countless fans. News highlights Trump announced a 25% tariff on imported cars and parts from April 2 and warned automakers not to take the opportunity to raise prices, emphasizing that the policy will promote the return of manufacturing. However, auto manufacturers admit that tariffs will push up costs, and it is difficult to avoid raising prices, causing unease in the industry. News highlights Intel's new CEO, Chen Liwu, said that he will make every effort to strengthen the hardware strength of AI data centers to compete with NVIDIA. He said frankly that Intel needs to develop competitive system solutions to revitalize the AI layout. Intel has lagged behind AI hardware in recent years, and this move is hoping to reverse the decline. News highlights Salary Comparison announced the 2024 salary ranking of the technology industry, and MediaTek topped the list with an annual salary of 1.696 million yuan. The top 5 companies generally raised their monthly salaries, but their bonuses shrunk, and the salary structure turned stable. The report advises job seekers to focus on a fixed salary and company prospects to ensure a stable income. News highlights according to the Ministry of Finance's 2023 data, there are 1.144 million young homeowners aged 20 to 39 in Taiwan, accounting for about 10% of the total housing tax register. Darwin has the highest proportion of young homeowners, 12.6%, while Taipei has the lowest, 6.8%. Affected by high housing prices, low wages, and inflation, it is not easy for young people to buy a house, and the number of young homeowners in 2023 will even decrease slightly compared with the previous year. Due to its relatively affordable housing prices and convenient transportation, Darwin has attracted many young people from the north to immigrate. Experts suggest that young people should reserve financial flexibility to cope with the risk of tightening loans. News highlights Morgan Stanley is bullish on TSMC and maintains the target price of $1,388, believing that the stock price is attractive. In the next 2 months, the 3 uncertainties of Intel's joint venture, AI demand, and tariffs will be clear, which is expected to drive the stock price rebound. The key is whether TSMC clarifies its joint venture stance. News highlights affected by the DeepSeek effect in China, the trend of enterprise AI transformation has shifted to on-premise deployment. Taiwan Big Brother and Phison Electronics have launched the AI2X AIDAPTIV Plus integration solution to help enterprises quickly introduce generative AI at a low cost, strengthen information security and data autonomy, build a local AI supply chain, and accelerate the cloud. News highlights Japanese singer Takasu Naka was suspected of indecent behavior towards men in a bathhouse on the 28th, and was arrested by the police for the crime of involuntary sexual intercourse. He has performed in Haijiao no 7, has a certain reputation in Taiwan, and participated in the Kaohsiung Cherry Blossom season performance last year. The case is currently under police investigation. News highlights more than 2 years after the merger and acquisition of RT Mart, it is rumored that 20 RT Mart companies in Taiwan will be renamed Dequanlian in the 3rd quarter, and the original brand has gone into history. Employees and members will be integrated into the system, and the integration plan will be announced in the second half of the year. The first store of the new brand will be launched in Qingpu, Darwin. News highlights the Shilin Police Substation launched an anti-gang operation against the Bamboo Union Gang, cracking 3 major strongholds, arresting 40 people, and seizing drugs and illegal gains. The police emphasized zero tolerance for gangs and will never allow challenges to public power, and will continue to strengthen law and order in anticipation of the 2025 World Games for the Prime of Life. News highlights Lin Nan, a 73-year-old man in Xinzhuang, New Taipei Province, had been taking care of his wife suffering from water encephalopathy for a long time, and threw his 68-year-old wife to death from a window on the 14th floor due to physical and mental exhaustion, and turned himself in afterwards. The prosecution is charged with homicide and will be tried by a national judge. News highlights Zhang Honggai, the former head of Kaohsiung's Mulin district and the current chairman of the tribal meeting, was suspected of being unwell and fell into a coma when tracing the river on the 27th, and was sent to the hospital for treatment at the age of 66. He was committed to promoting tribal culture, and the news of his sudden death made his people sad. News highlights Zhonghua's male god in the live broadcast industry Hu Kaiban was detained for attempted murder, fraud, and other crimes, and the former public welfare image collapsed. He once donated materials to help the disadvantaged go through the Red Network, but he was involved in gathering people to beat people, selling counterfeit brands, and even recruiting underage teenagers as thugs, and his actions provoked controversy. The police recently arrested Hu and 16 other accomplices, seized bats, knives, etc., and the whole case was prosecuted according to multiple charges, and the neighborhood was finally at peace. News highlights affected by the front and the northeast monsoon. The north and Yunnan will turn wet and cold from today, and the temperature will get lower and lower the later it goes, and it will drop to 15 degrees at night, and it is expected to last until the Qingming holiday. The probability of rainfall in the north and east is high, with local heavy rain, and the weather in the central and southern parts is cloudy with a large temperature difference between day and night. News highlights Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi gas explosion in February caused 5 deaths and 39 injuries, and the fire investigation report was released, confirming that the cause was a gas explosion. Due to the explosion damaging the structure of the building, the investigation is difficult. The fire department has set up a special team to investigate with experts, and the appraisal is now sent to the district prosecutor's office to further clarify the case. News highlights Chen Pike suddenly burst into a black and white sky map late last night and confided in his heart, saying that the smile is for people to see, the pain is reserved for himself, and sighing that giving up is sometimes firm courage. They left messages to cheer her up, hoping that she would get out of the slump as soon as possible. News highlights the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, was dissatisfied with Lanbai's decision to put the 2 referendum bills into second reading, and occupied the Legislative Yuan in protest for several days. News highlights the 4 defendants, former Taipei Mayor K. Wenz, Weeking Group Chairman Shen Qingjing, Taipei City Councilor Ying Xiaoei, and K. Big Tent former Chairman of Beijing Li Wenzong, are still in custody and their detention will expire on April 1. The Taipei District Court recently handled the procedure for extending the detention and ruled today, 28, that K and the other 4 people will be extended for 2 months from April 2, and that they will be prohibited from receiving meetings and correspondence. News highlights the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council of the People's Republic of China set up a special column for Taiwan independence thugs, and Minister of the Interior Liu Shifang was listed as the first person, and today responded, "My official title is the Minister of the Interior of the Republic of China, and the statement of the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council is very rude." She also pointed out that the other side's list of officials of the 3 powers is tantamount to recognizing Taiwan's sovereignty. News highlights a 28-year-old female fitness teacher in the United States died suddenly of a heart attack, and her mother suspected that it was related to excessive intake of energy drinks and caffeine supplements. She called on the public to stay away from such drinks, stressing that excessive caffeine can be fatal, and lamented that her daughter had died because of her healthy life. News highlights a man surnamed Huang in Taichung burned a friend surnamed due to death in front of the police station in anger because of a debt dispute. The national judge of the first instance sentenced him to life imprisonment, considering that he had no criminal record and confessed to the crime. The second instance High Court rejected the appeal today, 27th, and upheld the sentence of life imprisonment, and the entire case can still be appealed. News highlights Huang Zijiao was involved in possession of 2,259 juvenile sexual images, and was only sentenced to 8 months in prison, which caused controversy. After reading the verdict, Ben angrily criticized it as too light, angrily criticizing 80 years is not enough, questioned the failure to track down other members, and called for the protection of children's bodily autonomy. News highlights millionaire YouTuber Zhong Mingxian shared that he introduced himself as Taiwan abroad but no one knew about it, and finally had to call himself Chinese, which caused heated discussions. Adi, who is also a YouTuber, shared his personal experience, saying that most people know Taiwan and will take the initiative to introduce their hometown. However, his remarks were also criticized by some netizens as taking the lead in bullying, accusing him of not respecting different cultural backgrounds and experiences. Adi responded by emphasizing respect for diversity, and also expressed that he was only sharing his personal experience and did not mean to belittle others. The whole incident has once again sparked widespread discussions on Taiwan's international visibility and expression of identity. News highlights Chen Chihi challenged the villain Prince Murong Xuanli for the first time in Spring Flower Flame, and competed for the throne with his younger brother played by Lu Suiai, and his role was well received. He revealed that he received court etiquette training to interpret the role, and the performance was challenging. The recent death of his dog and the frequent partying around him made him decide to postpone his work and adjust his mood. News highlights, IDLE member Song Yuki fell to the ground after sprinting while recording Let's Run, causing fans to worry. She immediately posted a message to report her safety, saying that she was just tired and lying on the ground to rest, and her dedication was highly affirmed. News highlights recently, China's J-36 sixth-generation aircraft has frequently exposed test flight pictures, with rapid progress, showing rare scenes such as air unloading and full operation of 3 engines, showing that it is expected to enter service before the U.S. military NGAD. According to external analysis, in addition to its military significance, this move has more important political propaganda and popular encouragement. News highlights the merger of Sun Yat-sen University and Kaohsiung University has attracted attention, and 77% of students in Zhongshan oppose it, worrying about the impact on academic qualifications and resources. 86% of the university supports, hoping to enhance the reputation and employability of the university. Most students tend to use National Sun Yat-sen University as the name of the merged university, and the student union calls on the university to pay attention to students' opinions, communicate rationally, and promote it prudently. News highlights the female netizen used the cloud invoice to win the prize, and found that the prize money for the 4 tickets should be 1,100 yuan, but she could only receive 900 yuan. It turns out that one of them won the 6th prize and the cloud exclusive prize at the same time. According to the regulations, each invoice can only receive the bonus once, and the system will automatically choose the higher amount to redeem, which is not a system error. News highlights artist Huang Zijiao was involved in the Candid Photography Forum Creative Private, holding 2,259 sexual images of minors, and was a senior member, and the case caused social shock. He was sentenced to 8 months in the first trial, and he only partially pleaded guilty in the second instance and requested that the fine be commuted. After reviewing the verdict, lawyer Li Lingwei was furious and unable to sleep, revealing that the victim had been sexually abused for a long time and was forced to reveal his personal information. More than 3,000 people are said to have been victimized and more than 5,000 were purchased, some of whom have been sentenced to prison terms ranging from several years to more than a decade. News highlights a strong earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 occurred in Myanmar on the afternoon of the 28th, with an epicenter at a depth of 10 kilometers, the epicenter of which was located in Sagaing province, and strong shaking was also felt in many places in Thailand. Aftershocks continued in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai in the north, and there were reports of building collapses in Bangkok. Online videos show that the water on the top floor of the high-end hotel is pouring like a waterfall, the crane at the construction site is shaking violently, and even a building has collapsed in the Chatucha area. The damage is still being confirmed. News highlights a man in Chi drove to line 130 of Fanlo Township in the early morning of the 28th to commit suicide, and the police launched a search after receiving a report from his girlfriend, successfully rescued the man, and was conscious and sent to the hospital for examination. However, the man's girlfriend suddenly felt unwell and fell into a coma while hitchhiking in a car, and was taken to the hospital for treatment. The police investigated the woman's suspected history of cardiopulmonary and asthmatic diseases, and the exact cause of death is still to be clarified. Police remind that if you find that your relatives and friends are having suicidal thoughts, you should take care of them immediately and seek professional assistance. News highlights a strong earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 occurred in Myanmar on the afternoon of the 28th, with an epicenter depth of 10 kilometers, and even Thailand felt the violent shaking. The blogger living in Bangkok said on Facebook in horror that the earthquake had made him untenable, that the pool water was splashing wildly outside his window, and the walls of the escape ladder were not even broken. He exclaimed, "There was an earthquake in Bangkok." Residents also said they had never experienced such a strong earthquake, and people fled to the outdoors after the quake.